Hi, my beautiful people. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is ERGJ, your conspiracy brother here on ERGJ TV. We're actually going to do a new series called Real Life HollyWeird. And so I talk a lot about propaganda, a lot about the, what mainstream media is doing. So today we're actually going to go through a story. It's an exclusive from CNN on ISIS. So first I want to just start by making sure you understand that propaganda is legal to be used on American citizens and foreign audiences. In 2012, 2013, a law was passed that allowed for the U.S. government to use propaganda against Americans. The U.S. government has unbound the legal regulations against using propaganda against the foreign audiences and American citizens. The intention is to sway public opinion. Keep that in mind, sway public opinion. That's the whole purpose, to sway public opinion. And they do this by using television, radio, newspapers, social media, targeting American and foreign people, and with controlled psyops. Controlled psyops are staged events. Think Hollywood. It's scripted. It has a director and it has actors. They pump all this propaganda out through the media outlets: NBC, Fox News, CNN, CBS, and ABC. Again, it's through the National Defense Authorization Act that this law was passed in 2012, 2013. I found this story that's an exclusive on ISIS. And it talked about some people in a state in Mosul who have been fleeing supposedly from Mosul, almost like the Underground Railroad, where people were fleeing from slavery. And so they talked about this story here, and I want to read the story. What I want to ask you to do is just to listen to the story. You can read along right along. You can read right along with me, if that helps you. I'm gonna blow it up just a little bit. Maybe that's too big. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, we'll blow it up that big, so that you can kind of get an idea of how theatrical these stories are. And I believe that as you get mainstream news, one of the things I tell people is stop taking the news and believing it to be true and trying to find false in it. At this point, we've been lied to so much. When you get the news, just believe it to be false and try to prove it to be true. I think that's the best way to open up our critical thinking skills to see if something really is true that's being reported. So this is exclusive on Iraqis pack up a lifetime as they flee ISIS-held Mosul in a darker night. This is a story by Ben Weiderman. It didn't say it's a true story. It's just a story by this guy. So listen to this. The soldiers are on edge, peering nervously into the dark. They can make out the sound of people. They can never know whom, approaching their position on this mountainside overlooking Mosul. Then, in groups of 2 or 3, they emerge from the night. Women, men, women, children, the elderly. Some can barely walk. They've been on their feet for hours and need to be carried the rest of the way. It's the same routine night after night. To get to the Kurdish front lines in northern Iraq, people fleeing Mosul must avoid detection by ISIS militants, step carefully through the minefields, and be ready to find shelter if mortar rounds come crashing down. Look at this, stepping through minefields. Oh my goodness. How dramatic. For men, capture by ISIS could mean punishment if they're lucky, but more likely it will mean death. By the time they reach safety, some have been walking for 4 or 5 hours. Adults must carry the young children. They arrive thirsty, hungry, and exhausted. Walking by night, however, is preferable to doing it by day, when they can be picked off by ISIS snipers or fall prey to the withering heat, with daytime temperatures well over 110 degrees Fahrenheit, around 45 degrees Celsius. Oh, look at these pictures. Beautiful. It's risky, but it's worth it, says the man who declined to identify himself, but who says he worked as a nurse. I came because of the tyranny of Daesh, who he's saying, using an Arabic acronym for ISIS. I came because of the lack of food and water, because of the lack of security. ISIS are gangs of killers and thieves. The most basic necessities in life no longer exist. There is no electricity, no water, no connection with the outside world. The threat of execution by ISIS for offenses, large and small, looms over everyone, he said. They kill you if you don't fast. They kill you if you don't pray. They kill women if they show their faces. They have no other way of doing things than killing. The only punishment is killing. No prison, no fines, just killing, killing, and killing. The number of people fleeing Mosul and surrounding towns and villages has been rising steadily in recent weeks as Iraqi government and Kurdish forces slowly retake territory around the city. At the same time, the U.S.-led coalition is ratcheting up pressure. Its planes targeting ISIS. The U.S. also announced it is sending more than 500 additional troops to support the battle to liberate Mosul. Before ISIS drove Iraqi forces from Mosul in June of 2014, the city had a population of around 2.5 million people. Hundreds of thousands fled when the extremists took over, and hundreds of thousands more are expected to pour out of the city when the battle for Mosul begins in earnest. The Kurdish soldiers, known as Peshmerga, welcome those who make it to their lines, but are nervous. They can never be sure if the men approaching them are genuinely fleeing to safety or are ISIS militants armed with explosive vests or weapons. Look at these pictures. Oh, it's lovely. Every man who approaches is ordered to strip down to his underwear and get down on his knees. Some soldiers keep their weapons aimed on these men as others approach them cautiously, asking questions. Others search their possessions, looking for identification, checking cell phones for messages or images that might hint at ISIS sympathies. Once they've been cleared, the refugees are herded into trucks and moved to a nearby base. There they rest. The children sleep, and the adults talk of the life they left behind. The women all had to wear black and be completely covered up, recalls one woman. The men had to grow their beards long. It was hard. There was no work, and there was nothing in the stores to buy. It was really bad. Eventually, these people will be moved to one of the many camps set up around northern Iraq for those who have fled ISIS. The lucky ones might be able to rent apartments in cities like Baghdad or Erbil or Kirkuk. When will they actually be able to go home is anyone's guess. Iraqi officials confidently predict ISIS will be driven from Mosul by the end of the year. So there's a sign. By the end of the year, predictive programming for the war that's going to be happening in ISIS. That's plausible, but what is far less clear is how much of Mosul will actually survive the battle. The people fleeing Mosul now have nothing to go back to. What a beautiful story about ISIS, this fake terrorist group, and people are trying to flee from ISIS to safety, almost like the Underground Railroad, the flee from slavery with Harriet Tubman in the United States. I just wanted to read this story, guys, so you can see how theatrical, how much drama is involved in the story. This is real life HollyWeird. These are things that are scripted. This is a story that came out to give you all of the feeling of drama and suspense and murder. Everything that you need in a movie is right here in an article. And this is real life HollyWeird, guys. It's more propaganda, just preparing us for the war against ISIS and Mosul and Iraq. Just preparing us, giving us the belief that this organization, this terrorist organization, which is conjured up by the American government, just like Al Qaeda, is our next target and will be the reason why we go to war soon. And it's predicting here, and even in the story, that it'll be by the end of the year. Just wanted to go through this real quick and just to read it to you, just to see how comical this is, and hopefully you can start to look at these things just like you would a movie and not get stirred up in your feelings. You can walk away from the movie and go right back to regular life. At any rate, this is your conspiracy brother ERGJ with a new episode of Real Life HollyWeird, ISIS CNN exclusive. You heard it here first. That's what's going on in the mainstream news. And all I say, guys, is that it's curiosity. It's curiosity that's going to lead you to truth. And it's the truth that'll set you free.